Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. Okay, so this is a residential application, and let's go ahead and look at the overall dimensions that I have. So overall dimensions, I have a 10-foot ceiling height. I have a section here of 54 feet 6 inches from outside edge to outside edge. Here I have a 8-foot wall from the center post here to this inside edge of the wall. I have this at 11 feet 9 3/4. Over here we have a section of 14 1.5 by 13 8.5, and again the 10-foot ceiling height. There's a sliding door here, glass door, sliding glass door over here, a window, and a couple of doors that swing out into the patio. We have a dining space over here, and we have a reclining space over here. This particular door here, I have about 2.5 feet out, and this one here is 36 inches. And I think that's about it as far as the dimensions are concerned. This particular client is looking to place gas heaters in their patio, and so we're looking at the Sunpak S34 model for this space. They want to heat up a 10 by 12 footprint of heat. These are infrared light waves, or infrared heaters if you want to call it. They're designed really to heat space as opposed to air or anything of that nature. Here you can see I have this one placed roughly, it's not centered, it's off centered to the right slightly because of the seating position here, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. And here we have it placed in the same direction as that one over there on the right. However, we may want to change this, and I'll show you that in just a minute. The main thing though is that we want to make sure that we are meeting the clearances to combustibles. So you can see here on an S34, by the way, the clearance from the ceiling height has to be on an S34 or a TSH. It has to be 14 inches from the ceiling, wind pointed straight down to the ground. So here I have it at 2 feet away from the edge of this doorway. You can see that it's the outer edge of the heater itself is 4'7". The heater itself is 48 inches long by 8 inches deep and then 8 inches tall. And again, that 14 inches of clearance above the heater itself. Also, you can see here I have it at 6 foot 10 1/4 from the wall here to the center point of the heater itself. And I think that's about it on this. Let's go look at this one over here. So you can see that I have it off centered here, 7 foot 8 1/2 from this point here to the center of the heater, and 6 foot 5 1/2 to the outer edge here to the center of the heater. And then from this direction, you can see I have it 5 foot 10 1/4 from here to the center of the heater. And again, over there you can see that 6 foot 10 1/4. So it's 12 inches off center, pushed up closer to the resident itself, because the seating position is more, based on, seating back over here. I probably should move this model here a little bit further in, and you can see it's about the same actually, but I would think that this would be a little bit better if we had this position something similar to this. I think that's about it as far as the layout is concerned. Let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat, and then we'll talk about changing the angle of this particular unit here. So you can see the footprint of heat is fairly wide in this direction, but it's not as wide in this direction here, so that might be a little bit of an issue. We're trying to heat up the whole entire table, but I wanted to put these in a uniform position so that they both look the same in the layout. And you can see that, you know, this footprint is, you know, roughly 12 foot by 10 foot. And that's why I have it off-centered a little bit so that we're, you know, really focused on this seating position over here. As well as the fact that I, you know, kind of like the idea of it being pushed a little bit more towards the residence itself. That's why I have that 5'10", just so that we're getting that coverage of the sitting position over here. You can see that we're almost missing some of that once I push this model back into the seating position, but not all seating positions are going to be the exact. And also, I mean, like you can always move, you know, things in a residence pretty, you know, easily. Let's see if I can do that easily, and we'll go, you know, just moving that, you know, that's 9 inches in to the center, and you're more into that coverage space. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back to where they had it and look at the possibility of changing the angle on this one here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do change the angle here slightly. Well, slightly, we're gonna go with 90-degree change from the center point, and you can see now that the coverage appears to be much better for this particular part of the application. And again, we want to make sure that we're meeting clearances, and I think in this fashion the clearances are well met with regards to, you know, this door as well as this door. The one thing I didn't receive is there going to be anything above the seating position? I don't know that, but this would be my recommended positions for the units. Now, if you choose to go back to what I had originally, you know, that would be acceptable, but just note that, you know, you're not going to get that full heat coverage here and over here. As well as the fact that you could move the heater itself so that it's, you know, we'll go with that 12 inches, so it's the same as the other side over here, you know, so that the layout is the same, but you're not going to be heating up this side as much as, you know, you would on that side here. And if we were to change this in this position, let's see if we can get in here again. And I'm going to move this over here for a second. And we'll change this angle, oops, to that 90. And again, we want to make sure we have that 12 or 24 inches of clearance from this point here to this wall over here. And yeah, the coverage is still, you know, fairly decent here as well with this position here. If we were to change this particular unit, let's go ahead and try that just to see what it's going to look like. I just draw a line over here so we have a center point, and we'll go ahead and change this to a 90-degree. And you can see that, you know, the coverage is fairly decent. I would probably want to push it over to the right slightly more. Let's go with maybe 12 inches here, and you can see that also this measurement is off. It's based on this edge over here still, but that would be the outer edge, 5'9" from this edge here, and then from this edge 8'5" to the left side of the heater itself. But yeah, that would actually look pretty decent for a layout. And another thing too, just to think about is, you know, when you are looking out of the resident itself, you know, what do you actually see? You're not going to see the actual, you're not going to see the actual ray itself. You're just going to see the heater. And looking at it from this point of view versus the other point of view, let's see if I can change that again. You see more of the heater this way, and then less of the heater in this fashion here. So let's see if I can get back in here, and let's go ahead and take off these measurements so we're not looking at those, and turn that ray off again. So I think that's fairly decent. I actually like this better than the first what I showed, so not sure if I mentioned it again, but I'll say it. This needs to be 14 inches of clearance above, because they are gas heaters, so they have a little bit more clearance above the heater itself. But all right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. And please, if you would kindly tap that like button, it really helps our channel out and builds our exposure to others and helps others, actually, because we do a lot of drawings for we get into the details of drawings more than anything else, and so hitting that like button really helps out. So I appreciate you doing that, and thank you very much. Have an excellent day.